everybody got their packets? We'll call the budget meeting to order. Lee Richards.
Yes.
Shane Walker.
Here.
Greg Nivens. Randall Boswell's absent. And Joe Newell. So, all here is Randall, he's out. Randall's absent. Need a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting held June 18th. And I have all the bids written down. Oh, we didn't make a copy of those. The bids that we opened up. Anybody want to make a motion on that? Shane makes a motion on this, I hear a second.
Yeah.
Greg second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, like aye. All for. Ms. Connie, is there any budget amendments? No budget amendments on that. Another four, done. Highway bids. Recommendation in the highway bids, this is, for drilling, they went with Rogers Group.
They were the only bidder.
They were, yeah, they were the only bidder, and then the striping was the only bidder was Volunteer Highway Supply Company. Asphalt, Rogers Group, for the pickup. Asphalt, oil, RS2, Marathon, and is it Aragon? Is that, there was two different places? You want to explain this?
I can't. Basically, we had 12 vendors. Rogers Group was the only bidder for drilling, or striping, like the chairman said, is volunteer. And then we have asphalt in place, which Rogers Group was the lowest bidder for asphalt in place for that. For pickup, we had two. We had Rogers Group, and we always put DRP as a second, just in case of availability. You know, all of our materials has to be based on availability, so we always have a backup. So for that, and then RS2 oil, which is our oil we use to spray with oil and chip, is Marathon was a low bidder, and Argon was the second lowest bidder on that. So that they will be the backup to Marathon if they're not available. For asphalt, AE3, which is what we use to make the mix with when we pave. Aragon was the cheapest bidder there, and with Hudson coming in as a second. And then gravel and chips was, Albany was the lowest bidder, then we had Gaddy Shamrock, and then Rogers Group. So all three of those will be based on availability. Pipe, the plastic pipe, Pug septic tank got the bid for it, and for the metal pipe, it was Contact Solutions out of Cookville. And there were no bids on grader blades. Highway Tire was the only bidder for tires and explosives. There was no bid. So I'd like to, on behalf of James, submit this to the budget committee as the materials for the highway department for 24-25. And there's tally sheets are back attached as well.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
You're welcome. I make the motion to approve the recommendation.
Okay. Does anybody want to? Yeah.
Second it.
Greg's made a motion, we'll wait for question. And Lee seconded, but y'all looked that over and
I'm just gonna, I was trying to write all this, but I'm just gonna say sheet to the attachment.
well, that'd be fine. We can just make a copy of it, and I've got the price list also. Drove in, I wrote all those prices down for you.
So they're all the lowest bidder and then the back, right?
Correct. That's correct. We always, ours is based on availability, and so the first name you see will be the lowest bidder, then the second will be second bidder.
Anybody else have any questions on that? So, motion to accept the the highway bid. We'll do a roll call. Geraldine Walker,
Yes.
Shane Walker,
Yes.
Lee Richards,
Yes.
and Greg Nivens.
Yes.
All four on that. New and old business, you have general purpose school fund 141, amendment number 5, 6, and 7. Fund 142, amendment number 8 and 9. Fund 143, amendment number 2. And then the debt service fund, amendment number 1 for education. This is what we just went over in education just a minute ago. For the education committee. Does anybody want to look over their amendment sheet? This is their end of the year amendment sheet. This is it.
That's it.
You got it in our packet, don't you? 25, 50. It's in our packet, sorry. Okay. She's got it written up there, it's page 25 through 53. Sorry about that. If you want to look at those amendments, it's on page 25 through 53. Just waiting on you, so.
Oh, well, I saw it a few minutes ago. Can I say something while
Yeah,
we're
go
looking
ahead.
at this, for the people that wasn't here a few minutes ago? We did talk a little bit about the wheel tax. I know there's a lot of question with the tax increase about why we couldn't just increase the wheel tax. That does have to go on, a referendum to be voted on by the citizens in the county. And the current wheel tax is still going toward school debt that the school has, because that's what it was voted for. Am I saying this right?
Building maintenance.
So, but we can put it back on to be voted for, but it would be, I don't know how all
Be
that
added
works.
on
It would,
to what's already.
to an election at some point.
Yeah, it'd be an increase.
It'd be an increase.
If you could do, if you wanted to put on a referendum for $10, you could use it for.
But is there a time frame? I mean, we could never do it with an election that's
no,
coming up this
no.
year. It would be an election
Yeah.
2 years from now or something. Is that probably the time frame?
Yeah, you couldn't get
You
it
could
on
put it on the
that
next election. Could probably be,
in 2 years.
yeah. That'd be the next one.
Any discussion? I'll entertain a motion to accept. No motion?
I will, sorry.
Geraldine made a motion, do I hear a second?
Yeah, I'll say.
Lee second, Lee, roll call, Lee Richards,
Yes.
Shane Walker,
Yes.
Greg Nivens,
Yes.
Geraldine Walker,
Yes.
all four. The approved jail food and non-food bid from IWC. IWC was the only bidder on that.
Yes.
Thanks. Yes, I did, I'm sorry. What was the price on that?
I'll catch on a little slow. That's when you get it.
And they're the only bidder,
Pardon?
and they're the only bidder,
And they reviewed that now.
you know, and I don't know.
There's a total on one. Total.
Yeah, that's what the total amount
It's
is.
on one.
What page is that? Amendment? 8 and 9.
So we just usually bid on quantities, I think. On the, what, what's now, or
And how about amendment number 8 and 9? That's already been voted on, but
I make a motion since we don't have choice.
I thought we just passed it.
We're just talking about.
We didn't want that.
We're on the jail food
Okay.
and non-food bids. Okay.
I make a motion.
Greg makes a motion, do I hear a second?
Yes.
Lee second. Roll call on that, Geraldine Walker, Shane Walker.
But on that, we don't know how much that'll be or anything.
it's on the quantity, you know what they ordered and they ordered. When they have a budget that the state is in for food and non-food supplies. But, I mean, you have to provide that, so you,
Is it within the same as it's been the last years?
I don't know, I sent it to them to review and I didn't get an answer back. But I was afraid if we didn't approve it, I didn't know if we could continue the contract.
It would be, like she said, if another vendor was here, they'll put a price on it, just place it in those quantities. What the total price would be, that they would have a base amount on each item, so they would, if you had two separate meters, you'd have to go with the lowest base on that, but this is the lowest base, because we only have one.
But we don't know what it is.
I mean, you can look through each one
I think it was on there, wasn't it on there, the price?
On each item.
on each item, you look through each item. There won't
There
be
won't
a
be a
total,
total.
there won't be a total.
But like each item price is pretty much what it's been the last
I
year.
didn't go through that because I looked at the jail administrator. Because I don't know, like, they have a, menu that they get approved, but if they're, say, ordering a certain item more frequently than others, I mean, I can compare what it is, but if it's like an increase on it because of, say, milk or something that's not that. So that's what we're supposed to do.
They're the only ones that bid on it, so.
Yeah, we'll have to send that over.
But you have to compare it on.
Lee Richards
Yes.
and Greg Nivens.
Yes.
So, Shane, no. All others, yes.
And I'm not paying no, you know, not to
Yeah.
provide them with food.
No, you're fine.
What you was thinking is,
Understand? All school funds for budget year 24-25, that would be the current budget that they went over to during education. And that would be the one for 53 in the back as well. After the amendment.
124.
Oh,
I didn't know which one we were doing first.
sorry.
I didn't know if we were doing amendments or the new budget.
Yeah.
Two top pages and then the next one of pages is 1 through 24.
I'll give you all a minute to look through that. They did talk about they didn't know exactly what raises the teachers were gonna get, but they will be getting raises. They don't decide that until July. Through the school board decides that. think they said the minimum had to be 44 this year, but it could be more. But they have 2 years till they have to, reach the 50,000 mark. And they're by the state. But she said 26, 27, right? 26, 27, the teacher's, minimum pay has to be 50.
And they're not asking for any more money from the county, right?
They're not. Mm-mm. They got extra money from the state this year.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Kenny makes a motion, set. Do I have a second? Geraldine second. Any questions? All right, Lee Richards,
Yes.
Shane Walker,
Yes.
Greg Nivens,
Yes.
Geraldine Walker,
Yes.
all four. Our next meeting's gonna be to be determined. Yeah. We have, Roxanne Tidwell here from the Veteran Service Office. It passed salary, come to budget about, going to full-time position. She's now currently 3 days a week. And, proposed going to 5 days a week to, serve the veterans in our county. We went through, and talked to her already through the budget committee. And we sent it over to the salary to discuss it. Salary, passed the salary and it's come back to budget for a final decision. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Roxanne or any questions?
I don't think we do enough for our soldiers. I'll come back, I think the government does enough, so whatever she can do to help them is, a big help to the community and the soldiers that come back from service.
I agree with you.
What is the increase?
Increase was 23,000, I think,
$23,154.
23,154.
That's the increase to go to full-time?
Any other discussion?
That 23,000, that's salaries, benefits, everything.
Yep.
Yep. All of it, social security, everything. Of course, you don't get insurance, doesn't get insurance, so we're veterans, that she has her own insurance, so. All right, any other discussion?
And that, sorry.
No, you're
That
fine.
would be a Monday through Friday that she will be here.
Monday
Is that
through
right?
Friday.
Monday through Friday. will be here?
And she does a lot,
She's helped me.
after office too. She goes to all the VFW meetings, auxiliary meetings, and all those the services that we have in the county. She goes, answer questions and try to help them there too. So I see her at all those events. The pancake breakfast on Saturdays that they have at the VFW, she's over there. All right, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Lee makes a motion, right here, second. Geraldine makes a second. With the discussion being had, we'll do roll call. Lee Richards,
Yes.
Shane Walker,
Yes.
Greg Nivens,
No.
and Geraldine Walker. So, motion passed. Let's see. Greg, no. And then we have a physical strength letter that goes to our 3-star program. That goes over towards the chamber. Sorry. You don't have that.
And we're gonna get this, and that side.
There you go, Lee. This is one of the letters we do every year. It's in support of the 3-star program. Education committee, did I give you one? No, we didn't. This just shows our support and funding and things towards that for the 3-star program, the cash flow and things.
The requirements are that you have an audit committee that meets regularly, that you have a debt management policy on file. And then, that you can go into debt, you provide an annual cash flow forecast to the comptroller's office. And leave it for you.
Any other questions on that? Okay.
Is this for the top of that?
It's a 3-star program. Any other discussion? I'll take a motion. Entertain a motion.
Yeah.
Greg made a motion, did I hear a second?
Yes.
Lee made second. Let's see, is that a roll call? Okay. Just wanted to check. Let's see, Geraldine Walker,
Yes.
Greg Nivens, Shane Walker,
Yes.
and Lee Ritchie.
Yes.
Awesome. We did have, a list of people that wanted to speak tonight. And, I will call them in order. Is, Robbie and Billy Cole here? Joseph, Shelby? Abigail Shelby? Or Selby? Tracy Jones? Jeff Burns? There's tonight. They wanted to speak to they come to the committee first. Speak to the committee. That was the rule that was still in
Nobody
place.
showed up.
Miss Kathy Smith's here.
Oh, okay.
Miss Kathy?
Well, I thought we were speaking Monday night.
Well, you can ask, you can talk tonight, and then if you want to talk Monday night, you still can.
I bet that's what they thought, I bet that's what everybody thought.
We explained to them whenever they called,
Yeah,
that we wanted them to come to the budget committee, because committees where the decisions are made. So if you want to address the committee, and we can kind of help answer questions or anything like that that you may have.
Well, it's about the tax increase.
Okay.
That's what we was wondering about. I mean, you're saying 35%. My taxes doubled last year. I mean, people can't afford that.
Okay, I do have a budget, and I want to, where'd I get it? Got mixed in here. This is taxes for all the counties, budget list is here, and I will like share, anybody want a copy of the budget that's proposed? And I'll let you look through it.
Yes, please.
And you can see, and I'll, thank you, Jessica. Here you go, you can take both of them. They're sitting so. Anybody else want a copy of the tax? Miss Polly, there's one more right there. There's some more on the table. You want one? We'll kind of. You need one more?
Y'all want that one back there, Chris?
Okay. So, on this and the increases that we have, we proposed a $3 raise to all the county employees. Budget didn't change much. We had to go up some to cover the, lawsuit that we had. We didn't have to do the whole 1.3 million that we received for. We was able to make payments on that. In the agreement, we had an 8-year, of course, we had to pay the first year already. And so we had to pay $162,500 a year for the next 7 years. And so that's in there. The $3 raises for all the county employees are in there. Other than that, there's not a lot of changes.
Well, why do the landowners have to foot the bill when there is a whole lot of people that don't own land?
Right.
Why can you not raise the sales tax or do something different?
We don't get a lot of the sales tax. So the way the sales tax is broke down, it's 9.5. State gets 7 of that, so that leaves 2.5. The schools get half of that. And then that's split. Now we've got, to split that next half with, solid waste. So we only get like a quarter of what that 2.5%, to go towards our general service. And so we get a small amount of sales tax, and that doesn't include city. City gets the sales tax in the city. We get sales tax that's outside the city limits in the county. So we don't make a lot of money when it comes to the sales tax. We can raise sales tax to 9.75 instead of 9.5, but it has to be on the ballot. It has to be voted on by the general
Well,
public.
that's what everybody's wanting to do, is vote on this property tax raise.
The main way that the county income is property taxes, and that's the only thing that they can control to get in. And I agree, the more land you have, the more taxes you gotta pay.
Exactly.
And I agree with that.
There's a lot of
We
these
had
people in
looked at
Overton
other
County that's in a
ways.
fixed income too, I mean, you've gotta look at that.
And they get discounts. They do get discounts. Elderly, they get discounts through there. You can go down to the, is it Caraboon's, Peggy's office?
Peggy Clark.
Peggy's office.
It's Peggy's office, but
It's only $119, that's the tax.
they don't
relief.
get much of it.
I've done discussed that with her, and the biggest issue I have with that is they're already in their reserve. The state's already, getting in their reserve, so that's a big red flag to me that, we're already in our reserve. How much longer is that money gonna last? That's,
Well, I mean, you take somebody on fixed income, they've got it set like this, and this. And you're lucky if you have money for food left over. And I'm talking about me,
Right.
cause I am on a fixed income. And I know how other people are having to live. And with some kind of raise like that,
So it's a 70-cent raise.
per acre or,
Now, it's a 70 cent across the board. So, I'll give you an example of, you can go to Caraboon's office and see what the proposed tax increase would be on your property. My house on Beatty Swamp Road, I've got a house in 10 acres. With that 70-cent increase, it went up $88 that year. I've got a 75-acre tract, it went up $200 for that year. But altogether, I own 3 houses and 108 acres, and it went up just under $800 that year.
well, did they not go out was it
That's
last year?
the state was one
It
that
will
raised
be
them
next
last.
year.
And raised them, okay. then
No,
This raise here, and then next year they'll do it again.
see, the state steps in every 5 years.
That was the
But the
No,
next
that's
one will
next
be the
year.
county.
See, we haven't had a property tax increase in 10 years. They did have a decrease. But we're still taking
Well,
money
then why did
in.
everybody Why did a lot of people's
The value
taxes
of your
double last
property
year?
went up. They have to go through and continually do the value of your property.
Well, Carabone told me it was the state that come through and
They're mandated in their office to go out and assess every year. And so what we have is the companies that are businesses are in here. They have to pay taxes on their value and their equipment and all that in there. And so what the cost of the house, so you pay 25% of what yours is worth. Say if yours is worth 100, you pay taxes on 25% of that 100.
Yeah.
And so the businesses went through the court system and through the legislation and said it wasn't fair that they had to pay 100% every year, but then we knock off the property owners and they're not assessed, like they're paying values every 5 years. They're getting reassessed, but theirs, they have to pay 100% every year. And so they won, and now they have a percentage drop. So this year, instead of paying 100%, they're only paying 66%. So that brings in less money. And so the reason why they're doing it, and the state steps in every 5 years and brings everybody back up to that 100. That's the reason why the values of your house goes up. The more people like around you that's been selling their houses and they're selling for a lot of money, it makes the value of your house go up.
Yeah.
Mine went up tremendously myself, where they put that subdivision all the way around me. And it is now worth $125,000 more than what I gave for it 5 years ago. I understand.
I know mine doubled last year.
Right. And it was because it got assessed in there. So the state steps in and makes sure she does that. And it tries to get that number as good towards at the end of that 5 years. There's not that big.
So they're
of a
gonna do
raise.
it again this year too?
They will level it next year. That means they'll bring everybody to that 100. So that doesn't mean that it'll raise, it might come down some. But the state steps in and makes sure everybody's at that 100, so that the property owner and the business owner is all paying 100%. Because last year, it was a decent year and they was paying 88%. This year, we've dropped down into the 60s. It's not as bad of a hit as some counties. Some counties are only getting 30%. And so that's a lot less money coming in.
Yeah.
The raises is for, we've got to do something.
Yeah, because
Our ambulance service and our.
They don't make
sheriff,
nothing.
They don't. And we can't keep them, and I'm just telling you the truth, we can't. And
Well, I
even with that
understand that.
$3, we're still not gonna be competitive, but we're gonna be more competitive than we were.
Yeah.
But the raise, the tax increase is mainly for salaries. And, there was, I think, 4 cents that went towards, highways, 4 cents that went towards, the lawsuit, and, a couple cents went towards, 911. It's just the different places get different pennies. And we try to cut it back as far as we can. We don't do anything extravagant. We've cut, all the services that we could already. And so, I was asking for services that we could cut out. We don't have park recreation or anything like that, so we can't really cut in that field. We wanted our veteran service to be open for our veterans 5 days, so that was an increase. And that's because of the number of the ones that we have and the ones that are coming in, they need assistance. And she's been able to get it done in 3 days.
I have nothing to say bad about that.
No.
They need to help the veterans.
That's really the only, big, like, added on, and that was 20,000, and that'd be a half a penny.
So
Our
basically,
penny's
the
worth
law-
44,000.
The lawsuit,
No, the lawsuit's 4 cents.
okay.
But what's the cumulative total amount a year?
4 cents a year will go
I know,
towards
but how much we,
162,500 is what we're paying towards that lawsuit.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
And is that because we're self-insured, that we didn't have coverage?
No, that was over what the insurance would pay. We were insured for 2 million and we were sued for 3.
well, from my understanding, that was to keep the deputies out of trouble.
They had 10 deputies pulled in individually. And if we didn't settle, they could go after them individually. And then that would,
Well, you would think that'd be better training than that.
again, being more competitive. Not saying that what we have aren't any camp, but you'll be able to attract some that's, right now, we're a training ground. We train them, they leave.
Yeah.
That's what we became. And I'm getting my information from the directors, the sheriff.
Yeah.
They're giving me all this information, and at some point, you've gotta listen to them, because they're telling you what they need, and I can see it. I definitely see it, but that is the reason why it has went up the way it is.
I'm pretty sure most of the people are wanting to put this land tax thing to a vote. And
Well-
I feel like we have the right to vote on that.
You get with your commissioner, and your commissioner is the one that votes on this one. On property tax, it goes through the budget first, and then it'll go through court, and all the individual commissioners. You'll contact your commissioner and let your commissioner know your feelings. But in the end, they have to do overall what's best for the whole county. And I understand that there's a lot and we'll try to get you some help. We'll try to get you on these programs to help you out. Like I said, with Peggy Clark's office, we'll try to get you with legislation, see if there's any more assistance out there that we can get. UCHRA helps some. We'll do our best to try to help out, but in the end, if we don't do something, then we're gonna lose what we have to have in this county.
What exactly do you have to have that's gonna cost?
We are mandatory to have an ambulance service, we have to have a sheriff's department,
Right,
and right now we're half staff at the jail. If they come in and done a census, we could lose all of our state inmates, and that will pull funding from our jail. They
so
can shut
there's
us
no
down.
grants for none of that?
No. No, we have to fund that.
Well, I still disagree with land tax being raised, and I know all, just about all the people will.
Well, and nobody likes to raise taxes. Nobody is excited about this, jumping with joy. I mean, we hate that we have to do this, but we have to get the money somehow. And we have been trying to find a different ways to raise enough money that we didn't have to raise taxes. We've looked at possibly doing a meter tax. Meter tax would mean like if you have an electrical meter, you might pay $5, $10 meter tax on that. That way it goes to everybody instead of just on the landowner. But then again, you're only getting so much out of that.
It won't go to everybody, cause some of them wouldn't work in a pie factory. And they do go buy food and clothes and all this.
Right. Well, the meter would be
It
like
ain't
if you had
hurting
electric. If you had electric, and that would go towards the renters and stuff like that. But still, it would be so much of a tax to get that much of an increase. For you have to go buy rooftops and stuff like that, and it just wouldn't be. And it would be the same. You paying $10 a month. Mine went up $88 on that house and 10 acres. If you paid $8 a month, it would actually be $8 more. But we can get with Kara Boone and see what yours would be with that 70-cent increase. But I'll try to help you any way that I can.
I know that, Stephen, I'm not doubting that at all, but I just know a lot of people that's in my shape.
Mm-hmm. My grandma's in the same shape you are.
And, you know, and a lot of people don't even know about this, and when this hits them, that their land taxes went up, they ain't gonna know what to do. Cause they have their money spaced out to pay what they have to pay, and then to get their fill. And then here goes taxes up, what they got, they ain't got nothing.
There goes their budget.
Well, I know we ain't gonna compare ourselves to other counties. There was counties last year that went up tremendously. The ones that didn't go up last year will be going up this year. Jamestown went up 69 cents. We're gonna be at 267. Putnam County's gonna be at 269. Everybody's happy because of the cost of living, because of all this, the prices on ink cartridges for our printers and paper and all
Yeah,
our supplies.
everything's gone up.
Everything's went up, but we're still taking in money.
Except the cost of living for us.
And I did bring that, and the ones that were here, heard me, bring it to Blackburn's attention. Senator Blackburn was here. She came to listen to our concerns of what we were hearing from our citizens, what we've seen. I got to go, to the, US Capitol this year, to represent our part of the Tennessee. That was what I brought to them. I said, you know, they did get a raise, a cost of living raise, and it went up like 8%, but then their Medicare went up 8% to match what they got. And I said the same thing to her while she was here. You know, I said, our seniors that are living on fixed income, it was kind of like a slap in the face. They got that raise, but then their insurance went up to match it, so what other money did they have? And I told them they're living, that if they splurge and went and got an extra pack of bologna, then they couldn't pay their bills. I explained it to them. And so.
And you can't work, cause if you do, they jerk at insurance and cut your pay down.
Yeah, they did allow a certain amount every year, but not everybody can work as well. But there is programs out there that we can help, Ms. Lois, to try to help you with that, the issues that we have.
Well, I mean, I know of a few of them, you know, some of the programs, but I still just don't agree with that, I'm sorry.
I understand. And like I said, this is not something that we wanted to do. This is a have-to situation. We've been living off of savings accounts. We don't have any more that in those general areas that we were drawing from to help pay for programs and things like that. Our nonprofit list that we have come in that ask for money, we've only got a little left over in our budget to assist in certain things. And I do have a list on that. Is our nonprofit list in there? But they're our fire departments. We do a donation towards our fire departments. We had to change the way we do that. They was paying for their VFI insurance, which is their, it's not their personal insurance. It was for their equipment, their building, to cover them in that shape. So now, instead of paying that for them, we're not allowed to do that anymore. But we can give them a one-time donation because they are a nonprofit. They're not part of the county. So your volunteer fire departments are not part of the county. But we do make a donation towards them to try to help them with the cost of their insurance and stuff.
Well, you contribute to the highway department too?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
even though they're run by the state?
We do give them, we're giving them 8.5 cents, now with the proposed budget, they will be getting 12.5.
12,000.
12.5 cents,
Oh,
Pennies.
pennies. And each penny is worth 44,000.
The highway department's not run by the state. The only thing they get from state is gas tax. When you go buy gas for your car, that's how we receive money.
Well, Stapleton has no control over it.
No, we don't have control of the highway department at all.
It's its own thing.
Or Peggy's office, or Fairbairn's office, or any of the constitutional offices. All we do is just do the budgets for the offices. We don't have any control.
Well, I know I knew you didn't have it over the road department.
No, he's an elected official, he runs his business. Where I'm elected official, I run my office. I oversee the budget. That's my main, I'm the chief financial officer and then the overseer of the day-to-day operations of the county. We do have some employees that work underneath me, but like, if you're an elected official, you're an elected official. I can't be their boss. I can't tell them who they can and can't hire and things like that. They send the budget in as well as every department. And the budget committee, what they do is they go through that budget and, they go through it with that individual and say, why are you needing this? Why are you needing that? And they say what they have to run that office efficiently.
But I still don't agree, I'm sorry.
It's okay. We can still be friends at the end of the day, Ms. Lowe.
We can
We've known
still
each
be
other
friends.
for a long time. So that was Miss Kathy and Miss Lois together. You got anything else?
No.
Time of the meetings, you had that on here. It's always been 5 o'clock over, if you're talking about the county meeting.
Yeah, can you not change that? Because there's people that wants to come to the
We-
meetings, but they can't get here because
They work
they either
good.
get off at 5 o'clock or they're driving a long distance.
That can be something to look at, but it's been said at 5 o'clock for a long time. Darwin is the chair, of the court over there. And I think it was discussed a couple of years ago and they wanted to change it to 5. Well, it's
We
been
brought it, we
Several
changed it
years
from
ago.
6 back to 5.
6 to 5.
Well, 6:30 would make it a lot better on the people that are working.
It also means they're gonna get home later, the ones that
Yeah,
have to
it
get up,
does,
so.
but I'm sure,
And one thing that I have tried to do is publicize, every meeting that I get to, or try to get to, go to, we try to, because 26,000 people can't come in here.
No,
And so we try to bring it to we've had some issues with audio, internet, things like
that's for
that.
sure, you can't hear nothing these
We're,
people say.
we're trying to make it better. We don't have the $25,000 to drop down a speaker system and stuff, so we're doing a little at a time. This was donated to us, by Overton Events, this whole system. And so we got a microphone that's back here, but it's set up to where you can hear a pin drop across the room. But if I drop a pin here, you might not be able to hear who's talking down there
You
for a
can't,
minute.
because I watched
gotta
one of
adjust.
them, and all you really see is the back of your head.
And I got a big head, and if I had my glasses on back there, it would look weird. It really would. Got a hot dog bun back there is what the
We'll
little
put you
kids.
some eyeballs back there.
I know it, but we're trying to make it a little bit better, a little at a time. We gotta work with what we got.
Yeah.
So a little at a time, we're gonna try to make it better. What I'll, propose, what I'd like to do is, set up a desk and each individual person have their own microphone. That would make it a little bit better. That way you could hear exactly what somebody was saying. But I try to bring it out to the public for the ones that can't be here. So that is one thing that I have
Right
to
in the
do.
middle.
You could, ain't got a long enough cord to reach all the way over there, and then you still work as, you can't hear the one on that end or this end, so we're trying to make it as professional as we can with what we got. So, we're getting there just a little at a time.
Something that wouldn't cost a dime is just people speaking up.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't cost a dime, and I have also listened, and it's like pointless because you can't hear. what
That
they're
woman
saying.
that was sitting right over there, you couldn't hear a word she was saying back here.
Miss Connie,
Yeah, and I
Very
mean,
soft
why not
spoken.
speak up, you know? Y'all got a voice.
I can't hear her either. Sitting right here.
He said he couldn't hear her, sitting right there.
but we tried to bring it out, we're not trying to hide anything. We record everything, it's open to public, anybody wants to hear a meeting, we've got it recorded on the recorder and we got it on video, and we're putting it on the website, and we're putting it on Facebook, so we're trying to be as open as,
But they're not updating the minutes and stuff on there.
it was a new thing that we were mandated to do this year, so we were working on it. We don't have a full-time IT person here. That's another job that we don't have, so we, contract a little at a time. to bring him in and try to help set this stuff up. And so he's volunteered a lot of his time, but he'll come in and help, get that stuff rolling. So it's automatically downloaded now, what he's got. So when this shuts off, it automatically gets uploaded to YouTube, our Facebook page, and our website. So we're trying to be as transparent as we can. We ain't trying to hide nothing. I speak loud, 'cause
Yeah.
I'm a preacher. I speak as loud for the people in the back can hear me. And if they go to sleep, I go back there and talk.
Well, I do too, I talk loud. Cause I mean, I'm not one to whisper.
Right. So I did have, what's y'all's name? I did call some names. Was y'all wanting to speak tonight? Or
Not
just here?
tonight. We just wanted the availability to, if there was a subject that we felt.
Okay, good deal. We just had some that had signed up to speak tonight, and I had called off some names and.
Joseph Selby, and this is my wife Abigail.
Yep, got you down. In case you wanted to say anything, you guys are more than welcome.
Thank you very much.
But does anybody else have anything for the budget?
We're also having a county court meeting Monday night,
Yeah, county court's Monday night.
5 o'clock.
I thought we were supposed to be there at 4:30.
Well, that's a public hearing.
Public hearing 4:30.
That's what I was talking about. It gets all mixed up.
See, that's one thing too, that people have been saying that we've been trying to hide and change the time, is making it 4:30. There's always been a public hearing before the final budget vote the same day.
Well, if you can get it on there to change the time, you'll have more people there.
That's something that we'll look into, Ms. Lois.
Well, I
It's gotta be
appreciate
brought
that,
before
because
the whole committee.
it's unreal,
Right.
but hopefully you can.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Or suggestion, I'm sorry. I think how you explained it has been helpful to me, some things you've said. I think that's what maybe the citizens need. Like, I would love, I know you said we can go to Caribou's office and find out what our taxes are going up to. But I think if you give an example to the public, like different examples of like, hey, this is what you pay now with this 70-cent increase, this is what it's going to. It may not be as shocking. I think it's gonna be shocking to a lot of people. But sometimes when you see it, it's, you know, I think it's going up hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but it may only go up like $70. You know, I'm not saying either one's right or wrong, but I think if you can get out examples to the citizens, like, I think that may make some feel a little bit better. I'm not for it. I don't want it to go up 70 cents, but I have a friend who lived in Davidson County where they went up some crazy amount during COVID, and she made the comment that it wasn't as bad as they had expected, you know, and as much as people think. So I think if you have that comparison, it may be, you know, citizens may buy in a little bit better if they see that, okay, it's $60 or $70, whatever it is. Just a suggestion, but that's all.
If you own
I
a
don't-
$500,000, if you own a $500,000 piece of property, it'll probably increase about $400 from what it was last year on a $500,000.
Yeah.
And there, you can get on the web, there's a formula that you can sit there, you then go back and you pull out your assessed rate that you actually paid by, multiply that times 25 times the 2.67, and it'll come up with how much, exactly how much your tax rate will be.
Is that something that like can be, like, I don't know, I can go find it.
Yeah, you
probably,
can get it
but-
on, you can pull up the Tennessee tax assessor's prop for you, and you can pull up any individual in the county. You can look at it, you can see what you paid at $1.97 last year. And if it goes up to 267, times the formula there, it's got a little formula to show you on the one page. I had Gmail, I could send or phone and text it to you.
So, I just think something like that may be better, you know, citizens to see it, actually see it. Second question, I'm sorry. With this increase, is it going to increase our savings and rainy day fund? So like next year, we don't have to worry about a 70-cent increase? Is this gonna boost up that savings that we have?
We have to, by law, keep 3 to 6 months of expenditures. So, because we only take money in from October to February.
Gotcha.
March area. and the ones that are late paying March. So there's 6 months we're not getting income, you know? So we have to keep 3 to 6 months of expenditures in there. We have 3 months, what we have to have proposed in this budget. So we are just under that now. And so proposed is to get to where lawfully we have to be. I would love to be at 6 months, but there is no way that we can do that. You're talking millions of dollars to get to that 6 months. That way that, you know, if something catastrophic happens, you can sit back and worry free.
Right.
But it would be so hard on the citizens to get to that 6 months. Projectively, I'd like to be at that 4, 375 to that 4, so that you have that comfort room. But again, we're not there yet. Do you have something?
So, these guys are some of the Overton County Ambulance Service folks. Of course, they all think different kinds. But, these are the folks that chose a career path to help save lives. And people that know they can, along with Mr. Walker up there. They wanted to say thank you for considering that. We know the budget's not passed yet, but y'all don't get a thank you very often. And they just wanted to say thank you for considering that. It means a lot to them for that pay increase.
Thank you guys for what y'all do.
We appreciate y'all, what y'all do for us.
Listen, I know is it 98 shifts and 48 are being covered. I know a lot of you guys are working doubles and triples.
They are.
It's a lot for this county, and we appreciate everything you do, because I'm telling you, you guys are working your butt off. I'm trying to get you some help. Yes, sir.
And I think it'd be a great benefit, not only to retain the people we have, but attract more talent, pull people from other counties, so we're not losing people to other counties.
Yeah.
And then that will help alleviate people not having to work so much to get by, have to cover extra shifts or be short. It's something we really need. And that's not just ambulance service, it's all the county departments. I mean, the sheriff's department loses people left and right. But it'll be a great recruitment and retention.
Yeah.
If we can. Sheriff's
Department's on 120% turnaround this year. That means they've lost even people that they hired this year. We're trying. It's something we're trying. And young guys, I know some youngs are working 36-hour shifts. It's a lot. And thank you.
So I work full-time for the fire department, part-time with the ambulance service. And the last 2 weeks I put in over 100 hours as a part-timer.
Plus his 48-hour shift with us at City Fire. I don't work as much part-time as EMS as the rest of these guys with the other businesses I run, but I run 2 other businesses myself, and I'm having to help fill in when I can, just to keep stuff covered.
Not only with the recruitment, I think retaining is cheaper in the long run. And we want to retain the people that are from here, that want to be here, that want to work here, because you don't want Joe Blow from, who you don't know coming to take your family. It'd be nice, you come, you recognize the face, or you talk with the patient, I live in Rickman, and you build rapport with people being local, and keeping local people is what we need.
Understand that too.
How about contracts? If they send them to scope, I'm talking about
We do
sheriff
have.
department.
We have 2-year contracts, but other counties are buying those contracts out. They'll say, I'll buy that contract out, you come work for me. Or some don't even care about the contract and they leave anyway. Because they make that much more money going somewhere else. But we was able to this year, get EMT and EMT advanced classes, through Ball State in Livingston. And so that was something that we hadn't had in the years past. We had it before, we lost it, and we just worked we worked hard to get that back. And so we do have that back at Ball State. There's grant programs that we're trying to work through to the people that's hired on to go, through workforce development. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that nobody sees. But we was able to get that too, to get some training.
Well, I tell you what, the EMTs are special to me. They really are.
They're right behind you, some of
Well,
them.
I know. There's one of our two that's special to me.
Yeah.
Steve, I got a question.
Yes.
What's it cost the county to send, police candidates to Toledo down there now?
I'm not sure about police. It was,
600 or something, like we used to do,
it's not,
600,
it's at one point it was that, but I don't know what it is now.
probably higher, everything else is gone.
So even if it say it was 5,500, so we paid to send them down there to Toledo for $5,600. They come back, they're trained, they can go anywhere in the state, and they leave, and that's $5,600.
That's the problem with things.
That's what we're having, that's what's
Well,
going
let them
on.
pay their own way.
But then you can't hire nobody.
Yeah, right.
You don't have anybody qualified applying because Monterey City was paying $7 more an hour than we are. Monterey City. We lost a deputy, Gonzalez. I think it's who it was it Gonzalez? Anyway, he was a great deputy here. He went to Monterey City and made $7 more an hour. But also on the paramedic side, one of our paramedics that's been here 44 years, or 42, somewhere around in there, he could go to Putnam County and make, I think it said $17 more an hour. I mean, we can't compete with that.
No.
But he's dedicated, he's here, he's from here, he don't wanna go nowhere. So we wanna reward that as well. That's it, and that's all we were trying to do, is trying to reward the ones that are staying, cause it's not just for startup pay, it's across the board to everybody.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I've had multiple calls, these last few days. It's unreal. And of all the people I've talked to, none of them had a problem with giving public safety a raise. It was the $3 across the board that they said. There is no other, like, I'll just use where I work, for example. The last time they gave raises, it was based on your level of responsibility and, how long you've been there, different things like that. It wasn't just a straight across the board raise. So I know I've said this before when we've been looking at this, and that's been the thing they all said. They don't have a problem with us giving EMS and the sheriff's department raises. Well, most of them don't. There was a couple that had a problem with us settling a lawsuit, and they were upset about that, but for the jail. But most of them didn't have a problem at all with us giving them a $3 an hour raise. It was everybody in the county, and then putting that burden. And a lot of these people are like Lois, they're on a fixed income. And it's sad to me to listen to them say, next February, when I have to pay my taxes, I'm gonna have to make a choice. Am I gonna pay my taxes and not lose my property, or am I gonna eat and buy my medicine that month? Because I cannot do both. And it's tearing my heart out, Stephen, to have to hear these people. And I represent them. I'm sorry, I know you said a while ago, we gotta do what's best for the county.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't. I have to do what's best for the people that voted for me, I'm sorry. And they, like I said, they don't have a problem with them getting a raise, but it's just across the board.
Well, how fair is it to a janitor that works his tail end off too? Or a clerical person who works her tail end off, who has to hear people like us come in and jump them. I'm sure these girls in here has heard it all the last week, I'm sure. I just don't understand how fair that is to them too, because they work for our county too.
I can vouch for my office. There's a lot of hours that's been worked. It's very stressful this time of year when you take a phone call and all you hear is on the other end is screaming, yelling, and you have to be as nice as you can be to that person and listen to what they have to say. And then you also have to do your job. And it's very stressful, even down, in the other offices. It's a constant thing. But I could vouch for my office because I see and know what goes on in there. They bust their tail in there. And, they don't, there is nobody that works their tail off, that don't deserve a raise. And now, that being said, they might be some people that don't work their tail off, that don't deserve it. You see what I'm saying? But,
I completely understand, I'm just saying, I don't know of any other place that makes an across-the-board set amount raise for every person in their
They do that with the federal government every year. The only, before they, across the board, they give it like a 2 or 3% raise. The state does the same. But with the only fair way, like I talked, that you could be able to do it, you have to sit down and do an desk audit on each position. And then they interview you, and if you're meeting you got your objectives here, and they come up with what that job qualifies for, and do a desk audit. The increase would probably be a whole lot more than what we're asking for, but that's the only fair way you could do on this position, to be a desk audit.
I think you should look at it, I'm a state employee, not federal, I'm state. We are performance-based, so we don't get across the board. But if you look at the governor's budget, the areas in need, like DCS and people working in jail, sorry, I can't think of what they're called, they get a higher increase in their pay than I do, because I'm performance-based and there's not a need for my job. So that may be something to look at in the future, as we know EMS and sheriffs, looking at that differential pay for them, because they may, we know we need to keep them. I don't know the retention rate of someone working in, Stephen, for your office or the clerk's office. Like, is that a high turnover job where you struggle to keep people? Like with EMS that can go to another job. So
like I've got, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're totally fine.
My bookkeeper position, whenever I interviewed 6 people for that position, and whenever I told them what the pay was, they laughed and they left, because they're making, the ones that I was looking at was the ones that had experience through either a hospital or something with a bookkeeping position. They were making $21 an hour, $20 an hour, and I was offering 16 or 14, sorry. For a start out, and they just looked at it and said, I couldn't do it. The benefits are okay, but I just can't do it for $6 less an hour. And I understand.
I get that.
And it's just, I couldn't hire nobody, so we ended up hiring one part-time, that just retired, just because I had to have somebody in that office. And it's not because he does his job, but he's as needed right now. He's only a limited number of hours that he can work, and so we work him all that we can. I would love to have somebody in there full-time but for the pay.
Yeah. Hey, I think everyone should get more money, but I just think in the future, it may be worth looking at the positions that are really in high need. I'm all for people having an increase in pay.
But I've only got one bookkeeper, not 200 bookkeepers.
Right.
I've only got one, so that person is high need for me, because that's the only person that does that job.
The federal government, yeah, they'll get a raise, it's called a cost of living raise. Every federal employee gets that. But they use the general schedule system, a lot of them do GS.
Yeah.
So you take a GS7 human resources assistant, their pay is $46,000. A GS7 LPN, because of what they have to know, will make nearly double that. Same for EMS and police, they should make more than a straight across $3 raise, because they have to know more. They are the doctors on scene when they show up.
100%.
If my life's on the line, I'm not gonna trust it to a clerk that's making the same amount of money I am.
Me neither.
That's not right, in my opinion. they deserve all the money we can give them, above what somebody could book.
But there is a pay scale that they're up here and the clerks and stuff are way down here.
I know,
So I mean, there's
I'm
not,
saying,
it's not gonna bring
money.
them up. I mean, it's all gonna go up.
I'm talking about the raise being the same, to
Yeah.
me is not right. And I'm not just saying that to shame my brother, I'm saying for all these guys and gals back here.
If you got a $1 per hour position, and these over here are already 13 or whatever, you just add $3 to it, so they actually go higher.
They get a 1% scale per year that they've been here as well.
So deputies look like they're getting about a 20% increase. Did I do that math correctly?
All I know is it's all $3 across the board,
Yeah, and then, so my question in the follow-up would be, what is EMS getting?
same $3
Per hour?
per hour.
Some of what you're looking at, Colleen, what you're looking at, that'll be multiple deputies.
There's,
Multiple deputies, you said.
You have to know
I'd
how
say
many
you
positions
have to
is
know
in
how
that
many
going.
deputies. I think that's what's.
so if there's like 20 positions, if there's 20 positions, that would be, considered for all 20 positions, but we're not even close to being full staffed at any place.
Okay, thank you.
A lot of times we have 2 deputies working night shift for the whole county. So the last heard was the sheriff told me we were 6 down, 6 deputies down for the county.
We got about that.
Looks like John's gonna have to get out and work.
Call him, tell him, get off his butt. I'm just kidding.
They have radar, Steve, do they have radar in their police cruisers like state troopers?
I don't know.
We used to, I was a deputy for years. We used to have.
Mostly all deputy cars have radar. I know city and them do.
More is high tech.
All right, any other discussion on this? I know we're way over, but that's okay. It is 6:45. Motion to adjourn by Geraldine, do I hear a second? Greg, second. Any other discussion? All right, all four say aye. All right.
We'll keep these.
Yep, you keep them. That's not the revised version. That's the old one. If you'll bring it here, I'll revise it for you.